All right, everyone. Welcome to our training today on how to take back control of 24 to 32 hours every month in just 30 minutes a week. My name is Jeff Woods. I'm the vice president here at the One Thing team. We are so excited to be here with you today. Throughout our training, we're going to ask you to engage with us so that we can better connect with each other and get the most out of today's lesson. So let's get into the training. We can all agree that time is our most valuable asset, right? If so, put time in the chat box. It's the one thing you can't get more of. But here's the big problem about time. Society has set you up to waste your time. It is an opinion. This is fact. According to the British Journal of Health Psychology, the average person wastes 28% of their day multitasking. This is because there's a cost associated every single time you switch tasks. But that's not all. According to the Pew Research Center, the average mobile phone user, which is most of us folks, interacts with their phone over 2,600 times a day. That's a total of 2 hours and 15 minutes a day, which is almost 30% of the workday. And that's just the average. Heavy phone users touch their phone on average 3 hours and 45 minutes a day, which is 47% of the workday on their phone. It's no wonder we feel like we aren't in control of our time. There are distractions everywhere. Here are some ways we're going to help you take back control of 24 to 32 hours every single month. During our time together, you'll discover how you can get crystal clear clarity on your goals and the specific purpose-driven daily actions you need to take today to achieve them. And based on the thousands of people we've already interacted with, we've discovered most people don't have clarity on what they want from life. And if you're one of the rare exceptions who has crystal clear clarity on what you want, my question for you is, do you know which purpose-driven actions you need to take today? If you're not clear about your goals and you're not 100% clear on which actions you need to take today, it's okay. Relax. We're about to show you something that was never taught in schools, but should have been. The best part is it'll only take you 30 minutes a week. And we want to pause and really drive this home because it's that powerful. Just 30 minutes a week of the right actions can help you take back control of 24 to 32 hours a month. This is huge, folks. So get excited. Now let's take a second and get in the right mindset together. We all know consuming content is great. We honor you for being here. And we know that you'll get the greatest value when you take action on what we discover here together today. So let's set you up to take action right now. Right now, go ahead in the chat box, share with us one big someday goal you'd like to accomplish in the future and when you'd like to accomplish it by. Your someday goal could be 10 years, 20 years, even 30 years from now. What's that one big someday goal you have for yourself, and when would you like to accomplish it by? Go ahead and really think big, okay? And I would love to see what you guys have. I see retire well. I see Shannon says publish a novel. Kathy says retire in 8 years. Awesome, Kathy. I love it. Publish a book in 1 year, says Monique. Oh, we got some authors in the house. All right, Dee says own my own business within a year. I love it. Jason says financial freedom ASAP. I got the feeling, brother. All right, I'm with you. Evan says work out when kids are in school, or work only when kids are in school within 5 years. These are great goals, people, and I absolutely love it. Okay, here's why we're asking you to share your goals with us and why it's so important. Research time and time again proves that when you write your goals down and when you assign a date for completion, you're 3 times more likely to accomplish them. So if you're not 100% clear on your goals right now, that's okay. This is a process. Just get something down and we'll share our system for refining it later. And we're going to be building on this throughout the training, folks. So make sure you got that goal down. Okay. Next, let's make sure that we've got your environment set up for success. We'll do this by eliminating all the things that could steal your focus and undermine your learning. And this is something you can take with you after the training, folks. So play all out. First and foremost, turn off your phone. Put it on airplane mode. Put it on do not disturb. When you're doing your most important work, turn off your phone. We know this is a huge distraction. Second, log out of Facebook in your email. If you're doing your most important work, you just don't need to be there. It'll be there for you when you come back. I promise. Close all the other browser tabs. Don't even tempt yourself. Why you do that? It's like a Got Milk commercial. Just don't do it. Okay. And also, quick side note, we know webinars can take up a lot of bandwidth. So if at any point in time you experience a lag, just reload the page and you'll be good to go. Okay. then get ready to take some notes. We know that if you take notes, your retention improves, and this will lead to you getting better results. We also suggest that you have an open mind. What happens is when you face new information, it can be possible to become overwhelmed. As long as you keep an open mind, you'll allow new information to sink in. And last and most important, honor yourself. This is me giving you an air high five. Whether you realize it or not, you've already overcome the biggest obstacle to making a change. You showed up, okay? That's over 90% of the battle. Now that you're here, commit yourself to staying till the end. And we want to be 100% transparent with you. While you will certainly get value from this training, we know that content alone will only take you so far. How many of you have read The One Thing? If so, go ahead and put the number 1 in the chat box. I'd love to see what we're working with here. How many of you have actually read the book? Okay. And for those of you who have read The One Thing, do you live The One Thing and have mastered its concepts on a daily basis? If you have mastered the concepts, put a number 2 in the chat box. And if you have read it but have not yet mastered it, go ahead and put a question mark in the chat box. Okay. We've all experienced the gap between knowledge and implementation. So many of us have, or of you have reached out to us and said, I love the book, but I struggle to implement it. To help you implement what you learn, we'll be inviting you to join our new community called Living Your One Thing after the content portion of this training. And since we value your time, we're going to tell you when we're transitioning from the content portion to reviewing the Living Your One Thing community so you can decide if you'd like to stick around and learn more or not. Does that sound fair? If so, go ahead and put yes in the chat box. We really hope you do stick around because we believe this is the most valuable premium resource we've created since the book. And in the spirit of transparency, we're going to tell you the investment right now. You're going to get the opportunity to join the Living Your One Thing community and give it a test drive for 7 days for $1. That's it. $1. And after the trial period, it's just $1 a day. We'll get into this more later in the training, but we wanted to be transparent about that up front. And we want to thank you for staying with us throughout the training by surprising you with 3 special bonuses. First, we'll be giving you a comprehensive action guide that'll help you start taking back control of your time. Second, we'll spend about 30 minutes together doing Q&A so that you can interact directly with us and we can make sure we answer your unique questions so you're set up to take action. That being said, we do suggest writing your questions down as we go throughout the training so you don't have to try to remember it later. And we'll let you know when it's time to start submitting them so we can curate them and make sure we get to them, okay? And then third, we're going to be helping you make one specific change to your calendar that'll immediately give you more control of your time. We've been testing this with people, and every single person who has done this has gotten tremendous value. So I'm really excited to share this with you toward the end of the training. Okay, so stick around and get ready because over the next hour, you're going to learn how to implement something that has been proven to help you take back 24 to 32 hours a month. It all starts with the book, The One Thing. It's currently one of the highest rated business books of all time. It's a book that sold over 1 million copies in just 4 short years, which is really impressive if you don't know the book world. And it's racked up over 400 bestseller appearances. If you like the book, you will love this training because we found the solution to living your one thing, which we're going to talk about today. Now, back in 1983, Gary Keller started Keller Williams Realty. At the time, it was a small local real estate company in Austin, Texas, with the dream of becoming the #1 real estate company in the world. While Gary and his team were building the company and started to gain some momentum, another company called Remax came to town with a new disruptive business model that attracted all of Gary's talent overnight, all the top talent, and his business was really in jeopardy. At that moment, Gary had to pause and seek clarity. He asked a question: what kind of business would I have to create such that by creating it, no agent would ever need to leave again? Gary committed to turning Keller Williams into a training and education company that would teach people the models and systems so they could have everything they could possibly ever want inside of Gary's world. Fast forward to today, following those models and systems, it's turned Keller Williams into the largest real estate company in the world with over 155,000 people worldwide. Our training today will be diving deep into the mindset required to achieve that type of explosive growth, and the models and systems that Gary used to achieve this level of extraordinary results is what we're going to offer you to test drive for $1. It all starts with how you approach your time. Let me ask you, when you look at your calendar, do you feel like you have to attend those meetings? If so, put meetings in the chat box. I'm definitely one of those people, been there. Do you feel like there's never enough time to do the things you know you really need to be doing? When your boss or your coworker comes up to you, do you feel like you can't say no to them because they're your boss or you don't want to let them down? We've all been there. We know how it feels to look up at the end of the day and wonder, did I even get anything done? The good news is it's not your fault. You've just never been shown how to overcome these challenges until now. By the end of this training, you will discover 3 things you can do today to take back control of 24 to 32 hours every month in just 30 minutes a week. Specifically, you'll discover how to get crystal clear clarity on your goals. So you'll discover how to stay motivated or how to identify the one thing you should do first, even if you don't have complete control of your schedule. And you'll discover how to stay motivated even when you feel like giving up. So let's talk about that first challenge that most people have, which is how to get crystal clear clarity on their goals. And I'm going to switch over here real quick and put my camera on so that you guys can see my face. Here we go. All right. Is this working? Okay. If you can see my face, please go ahead and put yes in the chat box. Can you see it over there? Okay, cool. How many of you, or ever since I was a little kid, I had heard a story of what you should do with your life? And tell me if this sounds familiar. Work hard in school. Get good grades so you can get into a good college, so you can get a good job, so you can work hard, work your way up the ladder, and hopefully one day retire and live the good life. Yeah, I heard that since I was a kid. And I followed that path. I worked hard, got good grades, got into a good school, found myself working in medical device sales, which awesome job. I wore scrubs every day, tried to get my wife to call me McDreamy. She refused, but I'm persistent. It's all good. Yet how many of you know what it feels like to invest your time every day in something that maybe makes you happy, but you're not fulfilled? You're not living your life's calling. You don't feel like you're living your purpose. That's where I was, but I didn't know how to make a change, nor did I really need to make a change until 2 things happened. First thing was a colleague of mine had a stroke. At the time, he was just 35 years old. This really made me pause because I realized how mortal we are, that our time here is limited. The very next week, my company had to make a change to our commission structure to remain competitive in the marketplace. And overnight, my income gets slashed by 40%. How many of you have suffered a massive pay cut or a devastating job loss? If so, go ahead and put some $signs in the chat box. If you have, you know how painful that is and the doubts that come into your mind. And it was at this time that I took these 2 events as a sign. I took a step back and for the first time really paused and sought clarity on, what do I actually want out of life? What am I destined to do? What is my purpose? I realized that I had always wanted to own a business that made a really big impact and that could deliver security for my family, but I didn't know how to go about getting it. And so I asked the question, what's one thing I can do? This is before the one thing. What's one thing I can do to get that clarity? And the answer was to surround myself with business owners. Well, what's the one thing I could do to surround myself with business owners? I started a podcast called The Mentee. And that was actually the reason I met Jay Papasan. I interviewed him, who he co-authored The One Thing with Gary, if you didn't know that. And after interviewing Jay and forming a relationship, an opportunity was presented to move my family here to Austin, Texas, to start this company with them. And I'm now standing in Jay's office. Here's why I share this with you. I'm not some guru. I'm not pretending to be some productivity expert. I'm a person with really big dreams who's just like you, who has been in your shoes. And in this story lies the solution to getting crystal clear clarity on your goals. And so I'm going to flip back over to the slides on the screen. Prior to my colleague's stroke and my income getting slashed, I just focused on taking action, which I think a lot of us can agree. How often are you just focusing on taking action? The challenge is I never paused and asked if the path I was traveling would actually get me to a destination that I wanted. But I did pause. It did give me clarity. It opened the door for me to start this company with Gary and Jay. And now that I'm in their world, I've learned that pausing and seeking clarity is something you need to do regularly. Let me ask you, do you have a regular habit of time blocking on your calendar to seek clarity? If so, go ahead and put yes in the chat box. Do you have a regular appointment with yourself to dream, to ask why you're doing what you're doing? This is required, folks. And it's the first step to taking back control of your time. Have a regular time block to pause and seek clarity. Write this down. Step 1, time block to pause and seek clarity. To ask what I really want. To ensure the actions that you are taking today are marching you in a direction you actually want to go. This brings us to the second thing you can do to take back control of your time, which is how to identify the one thing you should do first, even if you don't have complete control of your schedule. November 1st, 2015 was the day that I moved my family here to Austin, Texas. Yes, we brought our onesies to start this company with Gary and Jay. And transparently, it wasn't easy. Jay told me he'd be pushing me to my limits within 90 days of being in business. He said they'd be assessing me on 3 specific things: the ability to cast a vision for a company, the ability to lead with revenue by delivering $100,000 in 90 days or less, and the ability to prove that I could recruit and retain amazing talent. In addition to these challenges at work, I was facing some personal obstacles as well. Since we had just moved to Austin, we were still getting settled in our home, trying to figure out our way around town. And on top of that, we had to find a new hospital fast because my wife was pregnant with our second child and she was due within 60 days. So as you can probably imagine, from day one, it was chaos. My calendar at the time really looked like a game of Tetris. I just back-to-back meetings feeling like I had barely any room to breathe. Then, of course, came the never-ending sea of emails that were just flooding my inbox like a sinking ship. And in addition to that, I had voicemails piling up and constant interactions or interruptions from people who were stopping by and asking me, hey, you got a minute? Let's be honest, folks. Does it ever really take a minute? Yeah, no way. As a result, I'd look up at the end of the day and ask, I know I was busy, but did I even get anything done? I was really stressed, and truthfully, I felt like I had zero control. How many of you have ever felt like this? If so, put 0 in the chat box. But I knew there was light at the end of the tunnel because Jay told me I'd be challenged. I just had mentally prepared for the fact that this was going to be a challenging time. It wasn't long before Gary Keller himself put me to the test. And it happened during our State of the Company meeting when Gary presented me, or when I was trying to present Gary and Jay my vision for our company and getting their approval. And I handed, and you know what, I'm just going to flip the screen back on because I think it's more fun. We're going back to FaceTime, people. So I walk into this room, and on the second floor, it's Gary's little private lair. And I hand Gary and Jay each a single piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, I'll even role play this out right now. There's 3 priorities, okay? That's it. 1-page business plan, 3 priorities. Priority number 1, priority number 2, and priority number 3. These were the 3 things that I needed to accomplish in this year. So we started talking about number 1. Gary and Jay asked a bunch of questions. I answered them. I said, we good? They go, yeah. And so I started talking about number 2. About halfway through number 2, Gary started asking more questions about number 1. I didn't think anything of it. I just answered the questions. I said, we good? He goes, yeah. So I start talking about number 2 again. I finish up number 2 and I start getting into number 3. And Gary starts asking more questions about number 1. At this point, I'm starting to feel like I'm the only person in the room who really doesn't know what's going on, but I answer the questions anyways. I say, we good? He goes, yeah. I get back into number 3 and I start talking about number 3 for probably no more than 10 seconds before Gary stops me a final time. He says, quick question. Do you need to accomplish number 3 to accomplish number 2? I said, no. He said, do you need to accomplish number 2 in order to accomplish number 1? I said, no. He said, do me a favor. Go ahead and put a line between number 1 and number 2, or even better, rip the page in half. Don't even think about number 2 and number 3 until you've earned the right to by focusing and mastering number 1. Now, here's why we share this with you. And I'm going to flip back over to the slides. It was really in that moment that it hit me. It hit me of productivity and it was causing me to feel out of control. My mistake was treating everything like it mattered equally. I applied the same importance to checking email and attending meetings as I did to casting a vision for our company, for engaging with customers and lead generating to produce revenue. Once I learned how to look at all the things I could do and put them in order of priority, I'd know the one thing I should do first. And I became way less stressed about my schedule because I was able just to focus on the things that mattered most. Here's the takeaway for you guys. When it comes to your schedule, are you prioritizing or are you treating everything equally? Go ahead and share with us in the chat box. If you're prioritizing, put a P. And if you're treating everything like it matters equally, go ahead and put an equal sign in the chat box. I'm really curious to see what the breakdown is here. How can you identify the one thing you absolutely must do daily? How can you focus on that one thing first? Okay, I'm looking to see what your guys' responses are so far. I got a lot of equal signs coming in. Definitely got some P's, which awesome for those of you who is it. I would definitely say the majority of us treating everything like it matters equally. And if that's you, totally okay. Again, take yourself off the hook. You were never provided the systems to do this. Okay, so let's bring this back full circle. I want you to think about that someday goal we asked you to identify earlier. Remember when I told you were going to need it? Yeah, it's back, baby. If you had to do one thing every day to get closer to that goal, what would it be? Share it in the chat box. I want to see your answers. What would happen if you chose to make this one thing your number one priority every day? Would you get closer and closer to achieving that someday goal? Of course you would. I'm saying prospecting, money, selling, a lot of lead generation, spend more time with family, study, get my software company running. These are great goals, people. So what's the one thing? What's that one specific measurable activity? Black and white. You either do or do not do it. It needs to be that specific. Like for those of you who said lead generating, how many calls are you going to make every day? When are you going to make them? Get specific and measurable. Okay. I want to show you one thing that's in Gary Keller's office that's featured very prominently. It's this piece of paper. It says, until my number one priority is done, everything else is a distraction. As simple as it sounds, this is the focus that's required to build an empire and achieve extraordinary results. The one thing mindset is crucial to living the life that you want. Yet as simple as this sounds, sticking to it over the long run won't be easy. We know this by your responses earlier in the training. So many of you have read the book, yet the vast majority of you struggle to live it. Here's why. Once you start to prioritize your calendar, you run into a series of obstacles that slow you down and make you feel like giving up. And I've been living this for about 2 years now, and I still face challenges that I didn't expect. But trust us when we say this, as long as you stick with it, you will succeed. So to recap, the way you identify the one thing you should do first, even if you don't have complete control of your schedule, is to apply priority to everything you do and act in order of priority. Okay, write this down. This is step 2. Apply priority and act in order of priority. Okay, this brings us to the third thing that you can do to take back control of your time, which is how to stay motivated, even when you feel like giving up. Gary Keller taught me a valuable lesson a year ago. We think that this will help you regardless of what industry you're in. And it happened shortly after launching our first master course called Time Blocking Mastery. I was meeting with Gary and Jay during our State of the Company, and I was sharing how successful I thought the launch had went. And folks, I was really excited. We had just had a lot of people sign up, a lot of sales, barely anybody refunded the course. And in most businesses, this would have been a huge success. But for Gary, it wasn't. He had a different perspective. After my presentation, he suggested that the product may be broken. I was shocked. And I said, Gary, what are you talking about? Look at how many people just signed up. Look at the results they're getting. No one's refunding this thing. This is incredible. What do you mean it's broken? He said, Jeff, you know you've created something that's truly world-class if every person who interacts with it loves it and they want to share it. Is this world-class? My heart sank at that moment. And for a quick second, part of me felt like giving up. Then it hit me. as great as I thought the launch had went, my vision, my perspective, my goals, they were all limited. On my own, I would have never thought to set the bar for quality so high that everything we create be world-class, let alone that I could actually create something that was world-class in the first place. But here's the thing about Gary. He believes in others far more than they believe in themselves. He has such a big perspective on the world and what's possible that he really believes that your ceiling of achievement is much higher than you may believe it is today. Had I not set the intention to surround myself with people who are where I wanted to be, I would have never received this newfound perspective. It took having access to the right people to help me think bigger. That way, when I felt like giving up, I was still motivated. I'm curious, how many of you have ever heard the Jim Rohn quote that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? If so, go ahead and put the number 5 in the chat box. My question for you is, are your 5 stretching you to think bigger and achieve more than you thought possible? Are the 5 people you actually spend the most time with stretching you to think bigger and achieve more than you thought possible? Now, you may have 1 or 2 people in your life pushing you. Imagine what your life would look like if you had 5. I want you to think of your someday goal. We're bringing it back again. See, told you I'd keep doing it. Do you think you'd accomplish it faster if you did it alone, or if you did it with a supportive community to help you and guide you along the way? Option 1, option 2. Option 1 is alone. Option 2 is with a community. Put a 1 or a 2 in the chat box. Of course, having the support would get you there faster. Gary says himself, no one succeeds alone. This is why the third step to taking back control of your time is to connect yourself with a community of like-minded people who are constantly raising the bar. It's not optional. It's required. No one succeeds alone. So write this down. Step number 3, connect with a community. Connect with a community. Okay, so let's recap the content we've shared with you so far. First one, how can you identify your someday goals with crystal clear clarity? The answer, schedule time blocks to pause and reflect on where you're going and why you're going there. So your actions are driven by purpose. Second, how do you identify the one thing you should do first, even if you don't have complete control of your schedule? The answer, apply priority to your actions and act in order of priority. Third, how do you stay motivated even when you feel like giving up? The answer is to surround yourself with a community of like-minded people who are constantly raising the bar. Now, I'm going to grab a quick sip of water because for those who are our founding members know, I am always thirsty. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Jeff, this sounds great, but what type of practical results can I expect once I implement what was shared today? You might be wondering if this can help you both in your personal and your professional life. We understand what you're going through, and we wouldn't have mentioned that we could help you take back 24 to 32 hours a month if we hadn't already seen it happen first. Case in point, meet Matthew. He's not just someone who wears an awesome hat and stun of shades. He's been a workaholic his whole life. He felt like he had to work long hours and weekends, even when it wasn't necessary. As a result, he ended up sacrificing having a life outside of his job. How many of you know what we're talking about? If so, put job in the chat box. When we started working together, Matthew learned how to get clarity on what he really wanted, both personally and professionally. And quickly, he started to identify his priorities and take action in order of priority. As a result, he stopped wasting hours each day on all those little 80% tasks that don't really matter. And he started channeling his focus on the things that mattered most. As a result, he got more work done in less time, and he had more time to do the things that he actually loved. And here's what he had to say that he wanted to share with you. As a result of this community, I'm now able to regularly attend the 2 dance classes I want each week, play football twice a week, and commit to regular personal development time. This community has been integral in helping me thrive personally and professionally. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I get consistent help implementing this so that I can continue moving forward against all odds? When I first started to implement these concepts, I was lucky enough to work with Gary and Jay directly and have them help me with specific challenges along the way. We realized that this is not the case for everyone, but what if we could work with you weekly and we could help you pause and reflect on your goals so you had clarity on where you were going and why you were going there? What if we could help you prioritize all your actions so you could easily focus on your most important priorities and avoid all the other distractions that are currently slowing you down? What if we could help you connect with the right community that would constantly stretch you and raise the bar? This is what you're about to test drive for $1. Now, if you joined us a few minutes late for the training, we acknowledge that many of you would want to accelerate your development by joining our Living Your One Thing community. Since we're in the business of saving you time, we said we'd tell you when we were transitioning from the content portion to discussing how we can support you as your accountability partner in getting results if you think it's a fit. We're going to do that in just a minute, but before we do, we want to make sure that you're set up to take action on everything we've discussed so far. In the chat box, I want you to answer, based on this training, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it would help me take back control of my time? What's the one thing? Is it seeking clarity? Is it identifying your priorities and acting in order of priorities? Is it accessing the right community? Is it something else? Share that with us in the community or in the chat box so that we can see your answers. Okay. Now, one other thing, we also made you guys a promise that when you stayed till the end, we would give you guys an action guide that it would help you put all of this into practice. We don't want to wait for later. We're going to give that to you right now. So you should see a button that pops up in your screen. Go ahead and click that. That'll open a brand new window. You can go ahead. That window will stay up. You can come right back here so we can continue with the training, but you'll absolutely have that. And for those of you who are watching this later, you can access it by going to theonething.com/3C. That's with the number 3 and the letter C. Okay. And I'm watching your guys' answers come in. I see find my purpose, prioritize, monitor, hide an assistant, be clear on my goals, says Kim. Steven says prioritize. A lot of prioritize. This is awesome, folks. Now that you have that clarity, what's the one thing you can do to prioritize, Steven? What's the one thing you can do to get more clear on your goals, Kim? Chanel, what's the one thing you can do to prioritize? Robert, what's the one thing you can do to deal with anxiety? Narrow it down to a specific measurable action, okay? And remember, folks, we have 2 more bonuses coming up. First, we have the Q&A coming up. So now is the time to start submitting your questions. That way we can flag them on the back end and we can spend as much time as we need to interact with you guys. And we'll also be sharing that one change that you can make to your calendar so you can begin feeling like you're in more control of your schedule. That's all right around the corner. Now we're going to walk you through the Living Your One Thing community and show you how you can test drive it for $1. Bottom line, we're in the business of time, specifically giving you more clarity or more control over your time and then giving you more clarity about how you want to invest it. We are not in the business of taking time from you. That's why every investment you're about to make in the Living Your One Thing community should give you more time back, or we're not doing our job. I'm going to say that again. Every single investment of time you make should give you more time back, or we're not doing our job. That's a high standard to set, and we're up for the challenge. One of the ways we do this is that we acknowledge not every piece of content is for everyone. This means you should pick and choose which trainings you invest your time in. Everything does not matter equally for you. To help you identify if each training is the best investment of your time, we'll give you an executive summary. So you know what you can expect from each training, the specific problem we're solving, and how long each training is, so you can make a smart choice about if it's the right investment for you, and you never have to worry about missing out. We've been testing this with our founding members over the last 3 months, and we can now confidently say that this will help you take back control of 24 to 32 hours a month because it helps you achieve your big someday goals faster than you ever thought possible. It provides you with regular ongoing support that most people, frankly, just don't have. And it'll connect you to a community of like-minded people who are constantly raising the bar. This is the Living Your One Thing community. We created it because we want to leave a legacy. We want to leave a legacy that's bigger than you, that's bigger than me, that's bigger than Jay, that's bigger than Gary. A movement that'll teach 100 million people how to control their time. That's a big legacy we want to live. Living Your One Thing takes everything you've discovered here today to the next level, and it's broken into 3 sections. First, And one of my favorite benefits is our weekly accountability check-ins. These help you stay focused and eliminate all the distractions that you're dealing with. They help you bring accountability into your life, and they help you track your progress towards your goals. Sometimes these check-ins are going to be live, just like we're doing right now, so we can interact together. And sometimes they're going to be evergreen, so you can watch them on demand. Both are designed to help you start the week with clarity and power. Our founding members shared that these check-ins were the lead domino for them taking back 24 to 32 hours a month. My question for you is, how much faster would you accomplish your goals if you were able to invest 24 to 32 hours a month on your most important work, instead of wasting it on all that 80% stuff that just doesn't matter? These check-ins will help you get the clarity you need and then take massive action throughout the week. In addition to the check-ins, you're about to access a supportive community that helps you share your successes, helps you get motivation from others, and helps you feel better connected with your peers going through this program. This is seriously the family you just haven't met yet. This is the easy way to upgrade your 5 fast. In addition, Living Your One Thing comes with a training library to help you turn your someday goals into a reality. This is a powerful resource that we're going to continue to build out over time as we work with you and identify the type of trainings that you need to achieve your goals. This is absolutely a collaboration. And think of it like Netflix for extraordinary results. Some of the lessons that you will access will identify which of the 4 stages you're in during your journey to mastering your time. They'll help you review and write your big someday goals with crystal clear clarity. They'll help you create a 1-page business plan so you can take action on your most important priorities and delegate everything else. And like we shared at the beginning of this training, we're offering you the chance to test drive this program for 7 days for just $1. Okay. And for those of you who are the quick action takers, you can sign up by clicking the button at the bottom right of your hand or your screen. And full disclosure, the $1 that you're about to invest today will get you access to the Living Your One Thing community for 7 days. After the first 7 days, the investment in yourself is just $1 a day or $30 a month. You can cancel at any time. There's no contracts. And on top of that, we're guaranteeing your satisfaction. If at any point during your 7-day test drive, you decide it's not for you, just let us know and we'll refund your $1. Okay. And if you do continue with the membership and decide it's not a fit at any time in the first 30 days, just let us know and we'll refund your initial $1 and the $30. You really have no risk here. It's 100% risk-free. So click the button and begin your test drive. And if you have any more questions about what's included, we're going to take a few more minutes to go into a little bit more detail. Then we'll be shifting to Q&A. So make sure you keep submitting those questions. I can see them coming in, which is awesome. And first, we are going to talk about the check-ins. This is something that's unique to Living Your One Thing because it brings real accountability to your life. When we looked at the people who achieve extraordinary results, we noticed that they didn't focus on anything else until they earned the right to by accomplishing their one thing. The problem is it's hard to stay focused on your one thing if no one's holding you accountable. This is why we added these check-ins to Living Your One Thing. We'll be your accountability partner in getting results. This ongoing accountability is one of the secrets Keller Williams used to become the fastest growing real estate company in the world. We knew we struck gold when we implemented these weekly check-ins with our founding members. And they point blank told us that they loved them so much that we had to keep doing them. This was not originally something that we were going to do. And just to share a few testimonials with you guys, Camila said, this program helps you learn the tools that allow you to break through your own limitations in order to live a truly full, productive, and happy life. Rochelle said that it helps you create clarity around your purpose in life and then breaking it down into weekly tasks and accomplishments that'll move you closer to your goals. So how this will work is that each week we'll come together for a check-in. Sometimes these will be live, which the goal is to do them on Mondays at 3 o'clock Central. And sometimes they'll be evergreen so you can consume them on demand. And our training calendar inside the platform, which we're going to show you in a little bit, will keep you up to date. Okay. And during these check-ins, you will do 3 things. First, we'll help you reinforce why you're doing what you're doing, so your actions are driven by purpose. We'll be your accountability partner by reviewing where we are in the year and then put a plan in place that you can follow so you can track your achievement toward your goals. And we'll strengthen the community by highlighting members' success. We'll have open conversations about your biggest challenges and we'll help you get clarity on your goals and your actions. Every check-in is going to be loaded into our training community. So if it was live and you happen to miss it, no worries, no fear of missing out. You'll be able to access whenever it's convenient for you. Okay, so to register for the next weekly check-in, all you have to do is click the button on the page and you'll get access for 7 days for just $1. Okay, next let's talk about the training library. Bottom line is we're going to constantly be adding new trainings to this thing over time. It's really going to be like a Netflix for extraordinary results. And based on our founding members' feedback, we know that people struggle with 3 big main challenges when it comes to their time. First is a lack of clarity on how to connect their purpose to their goals and their goals to their actions. They struggle with bringing priority and acting in order of priority, simple in theory, hard in practice. And they really do struggle to access a community of like-minded people who are constantly raising the bar. Everything that we have designed, this is the core. Okay, so some of the future trainings are going to include how often you should review and revise your goals. It'll include scripts and easy ways to say no to the people who distract you the most and make them still like you. And it'll help you identify your one thing, even if you're unclear. Okay, so we're not relying on guesswork. This is all based on your direct feedback. And whether you're a beginner or you're on your road to mastery, we already know many of the specific challenges you'll face based on the feedback we've already received from our founding members. And we also know that there's going to be new challenges that'll come up as we invite you into this community. So that's why we are prepared to create new on-demanding trainings for you over time. Okay, so eventually some of these modules will be sold a la carte for $97. So just FYI, it's not, you will be able to access some of this later. But when you are a member of Living Your One Thing, you get access to all of it for free. Okay, so to access the Living One Thing community and join us on the next weekly check-in, all you got to do is click that button on your screen. You sign up for $1 and you give it a try. And remember, we've got the satisfaction guarantee behind it. Third part we want to talk about is the community. If you recall, we talked earlier about how a community keeps you motivated, even when you feel like giving up. And staying motivated is key to reaching your goals. It's very common for many people to become so frustrated and to give up once they hit a wall. Our community will help you break through that wall. Now, if you're familiar with the One Thing brand, you know that we tracked high achievers. And this is what some people had to say. Debbie, who was one of our founding members, said, I feel like I'm involved with a group of people who are striving for something greater. Now I'm accountable to the goals that I've chosen for my life and have been inspired by others in this community. It just feels great to share this journey and see others reach their goals. Mark said, this is a community of like-minded people who understand that there are ways of creating a life that you want. It's supportive and transformational. Okay. Bottom line, folks, our community is waiting for you. The training library is ready to help you get started. Registering for our next weekly check-in is just a few minutes away. All you have to do is click the button on the bottom of the screen. Okay. So this is everything you are about to access. We are going to shift into Q&A, folks. So I want to make sure and I'm going to actually just flip on over to my screen so that we can do these face-to-face. All right, beautiful. So let's talk about Q&A, folks. There's a few questions I know that are going to come up right off the bat that I just want to handle. First and foremost, if you're wondering if this is available forever, the answer is unfortunately no. The way we are structuring this is that we are inviting you into the Living Your One Thing community for a very short window, because what we're going to do is we're going to get you into the community, we're going to close the doors, and then we're going to devote all of our focus and attention to serving you at the highest level. And once we figure out how to build the systems so that we can support you at scale, we'll open the doors later in the year and invite people back in. Okay, so this is not available forever. So if you think that you would get value from having us riding shotgun with you on a weekly basis, consider if it's worth trying investing $1 in yourself to test it out for 7 days. If it's a fit, awesome. And if you don't think it's a fit, no worries. We will continue to add value to you through our blogs, through our emails, through the podcast. But we really firmly believe this is the most valuable premium resource we've created since the book. And I wouldn't say that publicly unless I knew we could stand behind it. Second question that I know that is likely to come up is how the money back guarantee works. So here's the deal. You sign up, you try it out for $1. If you decide within the 7 days you don't like it, it's just not for you, you email us, mastery@theonething.com with the number 1, and we will refund your $1. If you happen to continue through the 30 days and you decide, you look up and you go, you know what, I gave it more of a shot, I'm just not interested, let us know, mastery@theonething.com. We will refund the initial $1 and your monthly investment will cancel your subscription. So you really got no risk here, so you can try it out. Okay, so I want to flip over. I'm actually going to move the screen over here so you guys don't have to keep looking at my profile, which is slightly weird. Okay, we're going to go to some Q&A for you guys. Inez, will you go ahead and read some off to me while I pull up the control panel over here?
Yes,
sir. That would actually help me if you just kept feeding them to me. Give us a second, guys. We're pulling them up. Okay, so I see one from Cheryl that says, how does this training be personal for me versus a more generic training for the masses? Cheryl, I don't know if you've ever had a coach before, but great coaches ask questions. They teach you how to think so you can get what you want when you want it. That's Gary's definition of leadership, by the way, teaching people how to think so they can get what they want when they want it. Now, I'm not going to stand in front of you and say that I'm a coach. I have way too much respect and regard for people who are coaches. I have a coach. What we are doing here is we have identified, or Gary has created the models and systems that allow you to break through your current ceiling of achievement. What we do is we teach you the systems, and then we provide accountability on a weekly basis through these weekly check-ins. We ask you questions that help you self-discover if you are doing the right things or if you need to shift focus. And the evidence of this is we had 305 founding members who we worked through, and the results have just been, you can ask any of them. If you're in the community, you'll be able to tag with any of them and see what they have to say about this thing. And it's on the sales page as well. If you guys go, if you want to see the actual sales page, it's theonething.com/early access. Many of the testimonials are on there. So onething.com/early access, and you can check that out. You have another one?
Will you shut the door on new people signing up once you hit a specific number of people, or is it based on a date?
Question is, will we shut the door to this when we hit a certain number of people, or based on a specific date? It's based on a specific date, which all the information, if you hit that sales page, we'll share all the information with you there. The bottom line is, if it's of interest to you, consider giving it a try. And if it's just not of interest, we 100% respect that.
Should I read the book before joining?
Good question. Should I read the book before joining? This came up on a call with our founding members yesterday. We had our final founding member call. And somebody asked, starting all over, what would you recommend? Start with reading the book, listening to the One Thing podcast, time blocking mastery, the Living Your One Thing community. I think the book is the lead domino, right? Nothing can replace the book. I would not allow the fact that I haven't read the book to justify my inaction. Whether you've read the book or not, we had some founding members who signed up who hadn't read the book. This allowed them to go much deeper, much faster. The question really for you is a matter of if you think you'd get value from being a part of a community that's going through the same thing, the same models, the same systems, taking the same action, and could be there to support you, and having us there as your accountability partner. If the answer is yes, give it a try. If you want at this point to just try reading the book first and implementing, go for it. Honestly, please do. What I would suggest is, if we look back in the chat log from our training here today, the vast majority of people have read the book, and the vast majority of those people do not live it on a daily basis because it's hard. It's really hard. And that's why we designed it.
Is there one of payment, or is it for a year price? Is it monthly or yearly?
Oh, there was a question.
How much is it monthly?
There was a question. Is there a monthly versus an annual option? What you would be signing up for right now is a $1 trial. And I want to flip it to making not just sales questions. I want to make sure we're adding value. You're signing up for a $1 trial. Then it's $1 a day. So $30 a month. When you sign up for this, as soon as you process that order, you're going to hit a second page that is going to give you the option to convert your monthly option to an annual option. You do get a 30% discount if you go annual. It is not required that you do that. We wanted to make this as easy on the budget as possible, which is why initially it's a $1 trial and then monthly. You will have the option to upgrade annual should you choose.
My Sunday goals can only be focused on outside of my full-time job. I rarely have the energy to do much more. How do I create balance between rest and action?
This person, what was that? Shelly said that her Sunday goals have to do with things outside of her 9-to-5 job. It's launching something on the side. The challenge is that she regularly lacks the energy. And so what was the last part of it?
How do I create balance between rest and action?
How do I create balance between rest and action? Shelly, this is something that I have dealt with personally when I was in medical device sales. I wanted to start a business on the side, and I just had a first child, so I was sleep deprived on top of it. I think it comes down to applying the focusing question of the book. What's the one thing I can do to start my side business such that by doing it, everything else would be easier and necessary? For me, I identified that at a minimum, if I could just invest 10 minutes a day on my side business, that would make everything else easier and necessary. It wasn't an hour a day. It wasn't 2 hours a day, because I needed something that if I stumbled upstairs after watching Game of Thrones with my wife and I'm brushing my teeth and I'm going, oh, I forgot to do the work. If I had set the bar at an hour, I would have never done it. I would have grabbed my Snuggie, gotten into the fetal position, and called it a night. But if it was 10 minutes, if the bar was low enough, I could easily get into my home office and knock that out real quick. So my question for you, Shelly, is what's that minimum amount of action you would need to take daily to start advancing toward your someday goal? It's less about doing what you think you should do. It's about what you can do, because once you start to build that momentum, it becomes a habit. And when it's a habit, it doesn't require discipline. It doesn't require willpower. All of a sudden, you just do it. Like you breathe, like you brush your teeth, you take action. And that's when, boom, the hockey stick growth happens. So hopefully that helps you. Make sure you're unflagging them once we answer their question.
Okay.
Cool? I'm talking to my assistant, by the way. Hold on, let's see how Inez. Hi, Inez. Where are you? Okay. Oh, they can't see. All right, it didn't work.
What can I do to find my big five?
What can I do to find my big five? Great question. First and foremost, listen to episode 49 of the One Thing podcast. I think that was it.
Manny?
No, that was where I got featured on the other podcast about finding a mentor.
Oh.
Around episode 49 of the One Thing podcast, I talked in great detail about this. Here's the summary. A mentor can help you best in their area of expertise. Meaning if you want to start investing in real estate, you ain't going to talk to Warren Buffett, because he's not a real estate investor. He buys companies. You need to go to the people who that is their expertise. So my question, who asked that? All right, we lost it. My question for you, awesome person with awesome question, is where do you need help most right now?
Trevor.
Trevor, where do you need help most right now? What's that one area you really need help with? And if you had to describe the type of person who could guide you, who would they be? Go surround yourself with those people. Hopefully that helps you.
Can the one thing help you get over paralysis by analysis?
Oh.
By Nadine.
Who? Nadine? Nadine, best question so far. Can the one thing help you get over analysis paralysis? The content alone, yes and no. Many people who read the book or listen to the podcast are able to make progress. However, many of them still struggle with it. This is one of the biggest challenges we found with our founding members. That's where living your one thing comes in, because you can't do it alone. You need that person who's there riding shotgun with you that says, stop overthinking it. Just take action. And part of this platform is designed to help you very clearly identify what is the action to take. Stop worrying about everything else. Do not focus on anything else until you earn the right to by mastering your one thing. Here. Remember me? Yeah, this is what eats up your time. Don't worry about this. Focus on this. That just worked out really well. That was funny. Okay.
Joshua asked, does the one thing work to have one for each of your businesses?
Say that again.
Joshua, does the one thing work to have one for each of your businesses?
Joshua asked, does the one thing work to have one thing for each of your businesses? Joshua, yes. On page 114 of the book, we have the 7 circles, the 7 most important areas of your life. One of the greatest myths of it is that we all have more than one thing. You have one thing that you can do for each of your businesses. You have one thing you can do for your spirituality, for your physical health, for your relationships, for your finances. This is about narrowing the focus down to what you do first. Ultimately, you, my friend, have a problem with leverage. Gary said the difference between him and most people is that when he sees multiple businesses, he sees multiple people he needs in his world. Many of us, I've fallen prey to this, see multiple opportunities and we think that we can do it all. Now, maybe you're not at the position yet where you can bring leverage into your world, but it's about getting really clear on what that one thing is. What is number one? Line in the sand. You can only do one. Which are you going to do first? Not to say you only do one thing. It's about which do you do first. Now, I want to answer a few more quick questions. I know one of the questions that came up when we were doing our launch for our founding members was about how much time is required for this. So I want to walk you through this really quick. I want you to think about joining this like a rocket ship. Imagine you are that rocket ship and you're taking off. You may or may not have known this. A rocket uses 70% of its fuel source in the first 2 minutes of being in flight. That's crazy. And that's because it requires that much effort to overcome gravity and all the inertia. But once that rocket gets up into outer space, it requires very little effort to continue to go because there's less friction. There's no gravity. This is exactly how it's going to be for you. You have decades of habits. Some of them need to be broken. In the first few weeks, you're going to have to invest a little bit more time to learn the models, to get them in place, okay? And it's not that much time. We're talking about a few hours a week. Once those are done, our founding members reported, because we asked them, you tell us what we should tell other people about this. They said it's less than an hour of training a week, and it's about a half hour of planning time a week. But those 30 minutes of planning time helped them take back 24 to 32 hours a month. Every single thing that you consume will give you back more time, or we are not doing our job. Mentally prepare yourself that you're going to have to time block a few hours for the first 2 weeks to learn the systems, and then it's just maintenance, baby. And within 30 days, you should be seeing results. And if you're not seeing results, you need to look in the mirror and ask the question, have I done everything that was asked of me? Have I followed the models and the systems? That's the type, and this is what accountability means. This is what it looks like to have accountability in your world. And that's what you can expect in here. Okay. Next question.
I'm leaving for vacation next week. How will this work for me?
I'm leaving for vacation next week. How will this work for me? Again, not every piece of content is for everyone. Do not come into this community thinking that you have to consume everything. This is about looking at all the things you could do and identifying the things that you should do. If you're on vacation next week, great. Take your vacation. If you want to focus on this and join us for the call, you can join us. And if you want to honor your vacation and shut the outside world out, shut it out. We'll be there for you when you come back. You're covered for the first 30 days with the guarantee to test this thing out. This will absolutely work for you. I was on vacation last week and it still worked for me. Okay.
If I don't have time to interact with the group, will this program work for me?
If I don't have time to interact with the group, will this work for me? Sure. We have some people who, in our founding members, were not hyperactive or active at all in the community. It's another value for you. And if it's not for you, no worries. The thing that I'm going to the words you used, if I don't have the time to interact with the community, that's based on how you manage your time now. Let's see what happens to your time in 30 days. It will be different. Before we go into more questions, I want to show you guys what we promised you, that third bonus on that tweak you can make to your calendar. I want to make sure that we deliver that to you. Open your calendar right now, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on your computer, whether you are old school and you keep a paper calendar. Open your calendar up. What I want you to do, I want you to identify one thing, just one, that is currently on your calendar this week. And if you can't find it, I'll finish the sentence and I'll say, identify one thing that's on your calendar this week that is not your most important work. It's on there, but you don't actually need to do it this week. I want you to share what that one thing is in the chat box. Okay? Now here's what I'm going to ask of you. I want you to ask the question, how can I either cancel it completely or push it into the future? So Lauren says training. Paulo says meeting. Paulo, your meeting, can you just not attend it? Or is there a way you can say, hey guys, something came up, we have to reschedule. Can you let me know what works for you? Kim says team meeting. Kim, can you suddenly let people know that you're really sorry you can't miss the team meeting? You're going to have to catch the next one and see what they say. Kate says movie. Well, Kate, we know what you can do there. Dentist appointment. Brandon, do you need to do the dentist appointment this week? You may want to, but if you don't need to, okay. Jeannie says about 80% of what is there. Okay, Jeannie, think big, act small. What's one? Pick one. Can you cancel it or push it into the future? Here's why we share this with you, folks. Saying no is a muscle. We would never ask you to walk into the gym, go over to the weight rack, grab a pair of 100-pound dumbbells and be like, got this, crushing it. No, you start with the 5 pounds and you work your way up to the 10s, to the 20s, to the 30s. That's about where I break down. Okay. Prove to yourself that you can say no once this week and continue to say no once every single week until it's a habit. If you guys caught the interview I did with Ben Kinney on the One Thing podcast, he talks about how regularly he meets with his assistant every week. And as a standard, he asks her to cancel, is it 30 or 50% of the stuff that's on his calendar? 30%. They cancel 30% of his existing appointments. They give people the opportunity to reschedule. Truth is, most people are not prepared to make the most of your time. They're going to waste your time. So it's time for you to start taking that time back. Proactively, get her done. Why are you giggling over there?
Some people's comments are just funny.
Oh, you guys are supposedly funny. You're cracking as my assistant.
A couple people have asked if Facebook is the platform. You may want to explain that.
Yeah, so the community is currently in Facebook. Ultimately, that may change. Right now, the community is inside of Facebook.
But the training isn't.
But the training is not. Okay, good question. Here we go. We're going to do a little screen share. Let's do share your. We're just going to share the entire screen. Delay.
Now I can.
Okay. All right, guys. So what happens is you guys see this page right here. This is the order page. And then you put your information in here. You put your information down at the bottom. If you were referred by a friend, you would put their name in here. When you click the green order, complete my order button, you ultimately get access to the actual community. All right. This is what it looks like. This is not in Facebook. This is a separate platform where you will be given access. So we have multiple sections. We have the Start Here section, which I'll just take you in there right now. This is the onboarding. Walks you step by step. Watch the welcome video. Here's the core modules that you need to go through. This is what you do in week 1. This is what you do in week 2. Okay. We have a training calendar section so that at any point in time, you can see all the trainings that are coming up, when the check-ins are, so on and so forth. The weekly check-in section will allow you to actually register for our live weekly check-ins or access all our recorded check-ins go in there. Our training library is where we're building out that Netflix type of experience where over time we're constantly adding more modules. Trainings is the word I'm looking for. Accessing your community. This will take you directly to the private community that's not inside of Facebook. If you need support from us, you can get it right here. Okay, so this is all in here waiting. And once you sign up, you will automatically get access to this right away.
It's a 2 question.
2 questions.
We have some people bought Time Blocking Mastery. Is it the same? And or if they just bought Time Blocking Mastery, is this?
So some people asked, they said, hey, I bought Time Blocking Mastery. Is this the same or is it different? And some people said, I just bought Time Blocking Mastery. Should I be doing this as well? Time Blocking Mastery is our master course on time blocking. It focuses specific on time blocking and making it a habit. There is 100% value in being in both. If you're not in both, you can choose which you want to start with. We're talking about this right now. I would suggest starting with this. For those of you that are already in Time Blocking Mastery, you will absolutely get value from this. Some of our founding members had just bought Time Blocking Mastery as well. And the weekly accountability really gave them the opportunity to ask some more questions that they didn't have otherwise. Okay, so they're absolutely complementary to one another. Okay, I'm gonna go back to we're going back to FaceTime, folks. Next question, please.
Sorry. How long is the training?
How long is the training?
The weekly, I'm thinking.
So weekly, less than an hour. Everything we do is designed to save you time. And very transparently, we do not track value for you by the length of the training. If I can deliver something to you in 3 minutes that will help you be more productive, I will do it in 3 minutes. If it takes 15, we will take 15. Our goal is to deliver you the most value in the minimum amount of time because you are busy and we want to give you time back.
Will the calls be recorded so we can listen when we get back?
The calls will be recorded, so you can listen. Everything is recorded, and it will be uploaded into the training platform in that weekly check-in section. So even if you can't make a live call, 100% get value there. We even had on our founding member call yesterday, I've been working with these people for 3 months, and one guy, Jonathan, made a comment at the end saying, I feel like I didn't take advantage of everything that I could have, even though I still got incredible value. This was his first live check-in that he made, and it was 3 months in. and he still felt like he got value because they are designed to be consumed on demand. If you can make it live, awesome. We get the chance to interact together. I get the chance to answer your questions. But if you can't make it live, it was designed for you to do it on your own time.
Are there one thing coaches?
Are there one thing coaches? Great question. That is something that we are working on the back end. So if you are interested in having a one thing coach, if you will, email me, jeff@theonething.com. And that's with the number 1 in the URL. It's not something that we have available yet, but email me. Okay. One thing I want to make sure, I had a note of something to make sure to talk to you guys about. One of the questions that came up are from people who considered joining our founding member program, but ultimately elected not to. One of the reasons was because they said I had already committed to another training program and didn't feel like I had the time. So one thing I want to address for those of you who are investing in other things that are curious if you'll be able to make it work. Every single thing we do will give you back more time or we're not doing our job. Several of our founding members had committed to multiple other things and found that because we gave them the systems and the weekly accountability to take more time back, they easily made it work. I mean, think about that exercise we just did with your calendar. If you actually took action, which I hope you did, you know what? Accountability time. Did you take action? If so, put yes in the chat box. If no, put no. I want accountability. And no shame if you haven't done it yet, but this is just, it's accountability. We will be asking you when you took action. That's part of this. If you did take that time back, if you did this, like Keith did it, Mark did it, what does that look like at scale when you start taking 20% of your time back, 30% of your time back? Okay, you will be able to make it work. And for those of you, first and foremost, to those of you who said, no, I haven't done it yet, thank you. I honor you for the transparency. My question for you is this something you can commit to doing today? Not tomorrow, today. Can you invest 1 minute to send an email to somebody saying, can't do it anymore? Can we reschedule? Or sorry, I just can't do it. Something came up. Just do it, folks. You'll realize how when you start saying no to the world, something really interesting happens. The world continues to spin. People go, oh, okay. We'll talk later. Happens all the time. You just need to learn to flex that muscle. You just need to have people in your world who are there to remind you that you can say no, that you are in control of your time, and that when you do take back control of your time, you actually can live the life that you want to be living. That's what it's all about.
How do I establish a habit that is not something you just need to do once or a few times a day, but constantly? In my case, it is to change my mindset, to think positively, and to identify the opportunity in the daily.
Who's the person?
Louisa.
Louisa asked, how do you establish a habit that's not just something you do once a day? For her, it's mindset, shifting to a positive mindset. Louisa, think big, act small. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they say, great, I want to think positively. So they set the bar for being, I think positively all day, every day. What if you were positive 80% of the day, Louisa? How would you feel? Probably feel like a failure. And what if the next day you thought positively 85% of the day, but you had set the bar at 100? You'd feel like a failure. But what if, Louisa, I challenged you to just one time a day, just one, where you would have normally gone to the negative, you chose to think positively. Just one. And if you did that one day, you earned the right to put an X on your 66-day challenge calendar. That's what it looks like. Think big in terms of your vision, who thinks of sunshines and rainbows. I'm that guy, and Ed can attest to it. But it came because I started by acting really small, just trying to find one opportunity a day to think positively where I might have gone to blame, shame, justification, victimization. Start small. Do it over time, on average 66 days, until it becomes a habit, and then you'll start to see how it spreads naturally. Good question, by the way.
Charlie asked, will this help us to develop the proper mindset?
Charlie asked, will this help us to develop the proper mindset? Do we have any founding members in the house? Are there any founding members who are in here? What would you say to Charlie? I would love to see your comments. Charlie, the long story short, if our founding members are shy or just aren't in on the training right now, is 100%. Part of this, every single check-in, we begin with something around mindset. Danny says, me. Danny, what do you say to Charlie? Connie, what do you say to Charlie? Kate asked, how much longer is this webinar? Kate, at this point, we're just doing Q&A. This is not scripted. I'm staying as long as you guys got questions. And Kate, if you need to bow out, totally okay. We'll give you your time back. Not a big deal.
If we cannot make the calls but have questions, will we be able to on another platform?
If we cannot make the calls but have questions, will we be able to on another platform? 100%. We got two ways for you to do this. One is in the community where people are asking questions all the time and we're in there on a daily basis. And also we now have our founding members who are in there who will be able to also play the mentor role. And then we also have, if it's a very specific question and you need more direct support, you have that support tab inside of the training platform that comes directly to us as well.
What is the total length of training, months, years per perpetuity?
What is the what?
Total length of trainings, like how long will this go on for?
The question is, how long is this going on for? There is no end date for this, folks. We plan on doing this for a very long time. This is the lead domino. I told you our vision is helping 100 million people take back control of their time. We went way out, like 20, 30 years and asked, what are we going to do with this training company we're building? And when we worked all the way back down to today and said, what's the one thing that we do that will help line the dominoes up? It's this. It's living your one thing. So this is a long-term commitment for us. However long you stay as a member is up to you. It's a month-to-month thing. You can cancel at any time.
So Danny, our founding member, said it was intimate, there was accountability, and it was a real mindfulness.
Danny, our founding member, said it was intimate, there was real accountability, and it was really mind focusing. Okay. Danny, give folks
the link. It didn't
the
come
link.
through.
Oh, all right. Put the link in there one more time.
I didn't take it out.
All right. It should be on the button on the page, Danny. All right. What other questions do we have?
Living in a different time zone, are you sticking with the 3 p.m. if it was later? I already know.
Question is about the time zone. If you live in a different time zone, when we do our live calls, our goal is to do them at 3 p.m. Central on Mondays. We chose that time zone very specifically because people back in Hawaii can do it. If you're in the UK, it's like 10 or 11 p.m. If you're in Australia, it's early morning. That's the time that's worked best for most people. Is that the time we keep moving into the future? Kind of TBD, but the goal right now is we foresee doing them at 3 p.m. Just remember, everything we do is designed to be consumed on demand. The live part is just a bonus if you can be there live. We have plenty of founding members who were not able to show up for a single live call who got tremendous value because we designed it that way. Peggy says can't get the bonus.
I know, I don't know.
So Peggy, theonething.com/3C. I'm not even try it on my. You make sure you use a lowercase c, by the way. Theonething.com/3C. It's going to it's going to the resource page. If you opt in there, we'll also make sure we include the link in an email blast that goes out after this. Yeah. Do you know what, Inez? If you can pull up, do you have the lead magnet resource sheet? Feed me another question and I'll pull it up for you guys. I'll make sure we get it to you. Do you have another question for me?
Oh, sorry. I don't know.
Come on!
I was doing that.
Another time to get water.
Are the recorded check-ins public or individual and private?
The recorded check-ins are private to members of the Living Your One Thing community. They are all loaded into this training platform. So as long as you're a member, you'll have access to it. Hopefully that answered your question.
Oh, the 3C's an underscore, not a hyphen, Louise said.
Oh, it's an underscore, not a hyphen? I don't know what. I'm just going to get the actual real URL and paste it in there. Feed me another question. Please. Please.
Some people are saying they may not be able to start on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
What about the content continuity?
Some people said they're not able to start on Monday. Folks, we recognize this book was written for business owners. It was written for entrepreneurs. That inherently means that you are busy. So nothing that we do is designed to say you have to be available on this date. It's 100% available for you to do on demand. That's just the way that we designed it. So whenever works for you, that's when you'll get the opportunity to join. So I wouldn't worry about that. And as I just put it in Slack, so if you can just post that inside the community, make it a sticky post so people can get it. All right, folks, we're posting the direct link to the action guide in there right now to make sure that you get it. And for those of you who are watching it later, you're watching. Don't. Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm going to be doing the sticky post. Okay. All right. I just put one in there. Here we go. Boom. All right, so I just put the URL. It should be at the top of the post so you guys can get it. And for those of you who are watching this later, we'll make sure that that link, theonething.com/3C, is working correctly.
I got kicked off the server.
Yep, I'm working. All right, folks, let's see. Maureen asked, how does this help with dealing with activities you should not be doing, i.e. eating junk? Maureen, gosh, I wish I just had my founding members on the phone so they could answer this in their own words. When you go through these systems and you get hyper clear on what you absolutely should be doing, saying no becomes very easy. Where's my 411? We're playing with this live. This is something that you will learn to use on a weekly and daily basis. I have one thing at the top. It says webinar, finalize, practice, and deliver. Meaning I did not earn the right to do anything. Checking email, being on Facebook, shooting videos until that one thing was done. And I was able to cross it off. Then I earned the right to focus on something else. So it's all about really getting clear on what your priorities are and then having the community and the accountability behind you to develop the habit of acting in order of priority. And when it comes to things like eating junk, this is where when we have conversations about what your purpose is. When we walk you through the right way to set goals, when you get really clear, which you will, on what you want your life to look like someday from now, it becomes you get clarity on whether the action you're taking is contributing or contaminating your goals. It's that simple. But again, this is a journey. Will you within 30 days act perfectly in order of priority? Absolutely not. Will you be better than you were on day one? Oh yeah, baby. All the way. Okay.
Will this work for people who live in Africa, considering the situations might be different?
Will this work for people in Africa, considering the situations might be different? I've never been to Africa, so I can't speak to how you manage your time there. But if we are narrowing this down to how you manage your time, these are tried and true principles. Absolutely. If you have a more specific question about how it'll work for you, email me, jeff@theonething.com, and I'm happy to answer it there.
Can you take this course if you're not a realtor?
Can you take this course if you are not a realtor? 100%. This was designed for people, not realtors. We have, this is was a misconception with our founding members, 20% of our total email list are actual real estate agents, meaning 80% of the people are not. Our founding members, 20% of them were agents, 80% were not. So this is, again, tried and true principles of what it takes to get clear on what you want out of life and your purpose, the ability to take control of your time by identifying your priorities and acting in order of priority, and providing you with the community that can support you and encourage you along the way. Realtors are people, says Kate. Yes, we love you, Kate. Thank you.
How does it address things that you should not be doing to achieve success? Case in point, 66-day challenge of doing exercise done before eating happened for me. Did you respond to that one?
No. So another question, how does it help you identify what not to do? Example, a 66-day challenge on working out every day could do that, but then still eating poorly. This is, again, about, I think, resetting the bar around what your expectations are for success. People who try to do more than one thing, especially when it comes to developing habits, if you try to chase two rabbits, you end up catching neither one. This is about temporarily giving yourself permission to narrowing your focus down to one area until it becomes a habit. For 5 years before I moved here to start this company with Gary and Jay, I knew I needed to form habits around my spirituality, in my relationships, in my business, in my health. And I tried to do them all simultaneously because, of course, I got to do them all, right? I ended up making progress in none of them. Yet, when I come here and Jay says, what's the one habit you're going to form first? And I go, well, I need to do these 4 areas. And he said, yeah, but if you could only do one. And I said, but I need to do all 4. He goes, but if you could only do one. I said, well, I need to do these 2. Jeff, if you could only do one.
We don't see your face.
You don't see my face? That's not good. Hold on, we're turning it back on. Now? All right, we'll give it some time. When I narrowed it down to that one thing and just gave myself permission to track that one thing for 66 days, it became a habit. Then I was able to move on to the next one until that was a habit. And then, by the way, that first one was still there. I had habits stacked, and then the next one, and the next one. And those habits spawned off other habits. This is called halo effect, and it's what happens. So we help you get clear on your priorities, you take action in a very narrow focused area, but you start to see the benefits in other areas as well.
Can I focus on my health and business at the same time?
Can you focus on health and business at the same time? Sure, you can focus on it. The question is, which are you going to make a habit first? If you could only choose one, which are you going to make the habit first? You can deal with the next one in 10 weeks. But like on my 411, I've got priorities on here for my business. I've got priorities on here for my health. I've got priorities on here for my spirituality, but I'm only forming one habit at a time.
Peter asked, what was your one thing?
Peter asked, what was my one thing? Peter, my one thing continues to shift. At the end, my one thing when I started this company was sales, because I was told I had to bring in 100 grand in 90 days or less. The challenge is when I just focused on sales, I didn't focus on bringing value to you. And I started undermining the brand. And so at the end of last year, I looked up and said, what's the one thing I can do to really bring value to you and build the trust? It was the One Thing podcast. Once I earned the right to focus on anything else because I had launched that, I needed leverage. She's sitting right over there. My one thing was to hire an executive assistant. Once I earned the right to focus on anything else by hiring her, my one thing turned to this. And now that this is, and in the process of doing this, I realized that the one thing was engagement, interacting directly with people like you. I started getting on the phone with people. I started sending personal video emails to people. I spent 10 today from people who had sent me honest questions about how they can live their one thing. And I took almost an hour out of my day just to interact with people, because I know if I do that every single day, it'll help us scale a massive company. I'm doing the things that don't scale to scale. So it shifts. My question for you, Peter, is what's the one thing for you? Okay, hopefully that helps you.
If I'm not on Facebook and have no plans to ever be again, will I still get value?
Who asked that?
Pete, actually.
Pete asked, if I have no plans to be on Facebook, will I still get value from this? 100%, Pete. When we looked at the engagement, we had about 30% of our total founding members that were active in Facebook, meaning 70% were not. Yet when we looked at the constant feedback and ratings and the results people were getting, 100%. And my question for you, Pete, is what would it take for you to try it and for you to assess for yourself? We got you covered for 30 days. Do you think you'd be able to get a real taste within 30 days of if this is going to be valuable for you or not? If you want to give it a try, click the button. Give it a shot.
Are we the first group after the founders?
Are you the first group after the founders? You are. First one. All right. And this is slightly different from the founders. You know, the founders was straight weekly check-ins and community. The training library is a new element that we have built into this. And we're also bringing a little bit of a different strategy to the weekly check-ins. Whole founding members, the idea was to work with a group of people and to customize it, to create something that's world-class, that you would join and love, and that you would ultimately get so much value that you would want to turn around and share it. That's the standard that we have set with this, and we really believe we've met it. And it's evident because our founding members are turning around and recommending their people into this. More favorite lessons from Gary Keller. I'm going to give you guys something that I'm going to talk about on our weekly check-in this coming Monday right now. I was in a mastermind with Gary, and he looked across the room, some of the top agents in the world, and he said, most of you will not succeed because you are unwilling to endure the monotony of success. Most of you will not succeed. And when he says succeed, he means in terms of achieving extraordinary results, because you are unwilling to endure the monotony of success. Success is not waking up every day and doing the things that are exciting. It's not chasing the new strategy, the new shiny object. It's about looking at all the things you could do and narrowing your focus down to the few things that you should do and doing them day after day after day after day. The challenge is, after a certain period of time, it gets a little bit old. The novelty is no longer there. That's when people look for the new strategy. They try to build the new business. Extraordinary results comes when you identify the very few things and you do them over and over and over again. This is living the 80-20 rule. 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. What we don't understand is why people don't live this like gravity. when you come into this community, and this is part of what's going to happen on Mondays, walking people through the ideas that we are going to give you the 20% systems. We are going to help you identify those 20% actions. We are going to be there for you on a weekly basis to make sure that you are focusing on the 20%. And for the first few weeks, the first month, you are going to be super excited. You're going to be taking action. You're going to be getting results. Yet all of a sudden, the novelty is going to wear off. You're going to want that next thing, and we're going to bring it back to the thing that matters most. You're going to want the next thing, and we're going to bring it back to what matters. And when you stay focused and you continue to execute, there is all of a sudden when, boom, extraordinary results. That's one of my favorite Gary Keller stories. All right.
Martina asked, I'm a mom. That's why I dare to ask, does your wife apply the one thing? Does it work?
Martina, awesome question. She said, I'm a mom, and I dare to ask, does your wife live the one thing? The answer is not as well as she could be, very transparently. We have talks about this all the time. In fact, we were on the phone earlier today where she was just feeling an incredible sense of overwhelm. We just got back from vacation. There's just so many things that need to get done with the house. And she's a stay-at-home mom, by the way. So all she can see is all the mounds of things that need to be fixed. And yet I asked the question, I understand how overwhelming it can be. What's the one thing we would need to handle first? And this is where she has started to make progress. I used to come home and she'd be like, look at all the things you need to go do. And now when I walk in the door, she goes, here are the 3 things you need to do, and here are them in order of priority. That was huge that was big for us, right? Now she's got a while to go on her road to mastery, and she's aware of it, but she's doing it in her own time. What I am not doing is hitting her over the head about what's the one thing you can be doing. I'm not doing that. All I'm doing is showing up as the highest version of myself, hoping that her level of interest gets to a point where, she continues to take more action. So great question, and I'm happy to answer it. Ravi said, my question was, if I work on my health early morning and try to get into the habit, and then after 9 a.m., I'm trying to be more persistent on my business, can I develop the 2 habits that are both having their own time? Ravi, that is something that so many people in Time Blocking Mastery have gone through. Here's my question for you, Ravi. If you defined success for the day based on both working out and doing your thing for your business, and you only worked out, how are you going to feel about your day? If the answer is at all like feeling like a failure, then do not do it, because you are only going to allow yourself to feel like a failure for so long before you change the rules of the game so you don't have to tell yourself you're a failure. We do this all the time. This is why it's about setting the bar for success at a level that you can do. If the one thing that defines success for the day for you, Ravi, was to simply work out, then doing the one thing for your business is just a cherry on the top. But you earned the X based on the fitness. All right. Then once it's a habit, you get to do the next one. We dare you to defy it differently. We have tested it with thousands of people at this point. We know what works. It's narrow your focus down to one thing.
Kevin asked, I struggle to use the one thing in my job as I'm a physician.
Mm-hmm.
When what I do is out of my control.
Kevin said, I struggle to do my one thing in my job as a physician when my one thing is out of control. Kevin, I understand intimately. Spent 5 years calling on docs for medical sales. You're in a different spot, and people who are in an administrative capacity, people who are at stay-at-home moms, where you really are not 100% in control of your time. Kevin, are you in a private practice, or are you more acute care setting? I'm just going to use acute care. Like, let's say you're making rounds on your patients. Like, you got a round on your patients, right? That takes a certain amount of time. If there's a family member there who's going to ask additional questions, you're not 100% in control of that. For you, it's less about saying, I'm going to do this at 9 a.m. every day. It's more about having the clarity of what's the one thing you absolutely must do for the day. And knowing that it's the highest priority and finding the time to get it done in those little slivers of time. For my wife, for example, we got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. Her schedule is completely at the mercy of our children, but she's at least clear on that one thing that she wants to get done for the house for that day. And it's about finding that sliver of time when baby Dean goes down for a nap and Daphne's at school, that she can knock it out really quick. if we were to follow you around with a camera and track your every minute by minute, you would actually see how much time you really have. Yet we just, in those moments when we have some time, we grab our phone and we swipe down and check email. We get on social media. We walk around and we start talking to other people. We waste a lot of time. When you have that clarity, things shift. And that's how we know people take back so much control of their time, because they get the clarity. Hopefully that helped you. All righty. More questions. What do we got, Nez? Does the 30-day money-back guarantee apply to the annual option? Asked Tim. Yes, 100%. So when you guys hit the order page and you put in your information, you'll get the $1 trial for the 7 days. On the next page, there is an offer for you that if you wanted to take the annual option, you'd end up saving 30%. The money-back guarantee still applies. So if within those 30 days, you're going, you know what, I tried it, doesn't work for me, we end up refunding your whole annual investment. Okay, so 100% still applies. Great question, Tim. Thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't cover that earlier. What do you get for the $1 trial, and how much is the investment after it expires? Asked Alan. So the $1 trial, Alan, gives you everything. You get immediate access to the training portal, which has all the onboarding modules. It has, in fact, doing a screen share. Sharing is caring, and it is fun. All right, sharing the whole. Start here section where you've got your welcome video. We've got all the core modules, the challenges of time, the journey you need to go on to mastering your time. We walk you through the systems. We show you how to engage with the community, the next steps you need to take. We give you direction on what you should do in week 1, what you need to do in week 2. You'll have access to sign up for the first check-in, which will be this coming Monday. There's already modules in the training library. If you want to go even deeper, you'll have access to the community. You get the whole shebang. You try it out for 7 days. Then, should you choose to continue, it's $30 a month, $1 a day. That's it. So, and each training that we do is designed to give you at least $30 worth of value. So if you only did one thing, if you only showed up for one weekly check-in in a month, we know we over-delivered on the value. Again, that's because not every piece of content is for everyone. Okay, that's why we want to give you very clearly, like, what do you get out of every module? How much time is required? Like it tells you right here, vision and values, 3 minutes, 40 seconds. You know what it's about. So you can decide if it's the best investment of your time or not. Okay, hopefully that helps you.
Is a more generic training for the masses.
I answered that one earlier,
Oh,
I think. No, it's all good. Again, the question was, how does it make this more personal for me versus the masses? And again, this is less about us telling you, Kevin, you need to do this. It's more about us asking you, what is your number one priority for the week? Here's how you can identify what your number one priority is for this week. After this question, and this question. Okay, we walk you through the models for you to learn to bring this into your life. It's what a good coach does. And again, I am not a coach. I got way too much respect for coaches. I have a coach, but this is modeling a lot of what that is. Hopefully that helps you.
Does the 7 days start today?
Does the 7 days start today? You betcha. Yep. Can we still get the annual discount after 7 days if we want to get it? Asked Jamie. I don't know, Jamie. I honestly don't know. I mean, truth is, I'm sure we would give it to you if you asked.
Yes,
I have a motto. Everything we do, we want to serve you. We want you to feel special. We want you to feel respected, and we want to get value. So we're not here to play hardball, hard sell anybody. If it's a fit, if it's a fit. If it's not, that's okay. If there's anything we can do to make this a more valuable experience for you, let us know so we can try to do it. Okay?
How many people are on these check-in calls?
More favorite questions, more favorite lessons from Gary Keller. Asked Peggy. Okay, Peggy, give me a second. How many people are on these check-ins? I don't know. We'll see how many people join the membership. It's less about, this is the type of, who asked that?
Okay.
Anne. This is less about, in this more is actually better. The more people, if you actually study true platforms, the more people that are involved with platforms, the more value you get because the collective intelligence grows. So the calls itself it doesn't matter if it's just you and me or if there's 1,000 people on it, you're going to get the same value. Yet the more people we have in this thing, the more value you get. because we really, and if you listen to the One Thing podcast, I'm not running out to interview a bunch of celebrities. I'm interviewing you most of the time. I'm pulling people out of the audience who are taking actions, because this isn't about saying, look at what Tony Robbins does. No, this is about, look at what John White did, which that podcast episode just went live. Look what John White did, because John's just like you. Okay. This is real. These are real people getting real results, and we support one another. That's the culture we have built.
If we know someone who may want to join the session, is it too late to invite them?
Tracy said, if we know someone who wants to join the session, is it too late? No, Tracy. In fact, there's going to be links that go out after this. The link you're going to want to give them is theonething.com/membership. Theonething.com/membership. And they'll be able to opt in for that. We got to make some tweaks after this, but they'll hit the page where they can sign up. Okay. And it's available for a few weeks. What if you want to get out of your current job but don't know what direction to go? Ask Jill. Jill, awesome question. In this case, you happen to be asking the right person. When my colleague had a stroke and my income got slashed by 40%, I really got lost. I didn't know what to do. My gut said I had heard that people who were really wealthy, most of them were business owners or real estate investors. I didn't know how to build a business, so I initially thought, I'll try real estate investing. So I started surrounding myself with real estate investors. In the process of surrounding myself with them and trying to actually invest in commercial assets, like doing due diligence on buildings, trying to syndicate deals, I realized I have no business being a principal real estate investor. That's when I really got lost, because now it's like, okay, what do I really do? But I asked the question, what's the one thing I can do to get more clarity? And that's where I told you guys, I knew if I could surround myself with business owners, maybe they would help me understand how to build a business. And in the process of forming relationships with those people, upgrading my 5, I got the idea to launch a podcast. And because I launched the podcast, I met Jay. And because I met Jay, an opportunity came to stand here in Jay's office as we speak and call Jay and Gary Keller partner. It came from casting a vision for what I wanted. And even though there was a lack of clarity, working all the way back to now and saying, what's the one thing I can do to take action? So Jill, my question for you, if you know that you ultimately want to quit your day job, what's the one thing you can do that would help you identify the next step? Jay Papasan says this to me all the time. If you don't know what your one thing is, then your one thing is to figure out what your one thing is. If you don't know what your one thing is, your one thing is to figure out what your one thing is. My suggestion to you, Jill, is if you really have no clue, start surrounding yourself with people who seem to be really fulfilled in life, and interview them and ask them what their path looked like. What was their journey? If you had one conversation like that a week, what would happen in your life? Go there. What are you giggling about over there?
Marissa said, Jeff, 2 of my 5 are teenagers. Will you take them for a few years?
Marissa says, 2 of my 5 are teenagers. Will you take them for 2 years? Marissa, that is such a sweet, genuine offer. I got 2 rugrats. However, I want to talk about purpose real quick. I was on vacation last week, and, discovering my purpose is something I've been studying and wrestling with for a while. At my core, I've always known that I was a teacher. I know that that's part of my purpose, but we were in Southern California. We're staying in Newport Beach, and I'm walking back from the beach holding my 18-month-old, and I'm just having a conversation with him. He doesn't respond back, but I'm just talking to him about the things I would want him to know if today were my last day on earth. And I got really emotional because I realized as much value as I get from doing this, which this is absolutely part of my purpose, the opportunity to mold my son, my daughter, it's just really, it meant a lot. And I think you can see I'm getting emotional. My question for you, Marissa, is I think a lot of people feel like they have to be an expert or at a certain level for them to turn around and teach. But Gary Keller says you always teach from where you are, because there's somebody who's not as far as you who you can help. My question for you, Marissa, is what can you instill in them? What are some of those tried and true principles for you that you can instill in your 2 16-year-olds, which I remember how I was when I was 16. I was not a shining example. And does that drive you? How can you weave purpose into your actions? So I'm building Teen Hack Boot Camp. I want to talk to you. Jeff@theonething.com. There you go. Folks, by the way, like, I'm sharing this with you. Like, I'm calling this out because this is the value. This is what happens on our check-ins when I'm able to see something like that, and for us to be able to go down a rabbit hole, to be able to take something and to weave that purpose into it. What would your life look like if you had that every week? Do you think you'd get closer to your goals? Do you think you'd have more clarity over what you want? Do you think you'd be able to have more clarity over what your purpose is? Our data, based on our founding members, suggests, oh yeah. And is that worth you trying for $1? Are you willing to bet $1 on yourself to test this thing out, knowing that we'll give you your $1 back so you can go buy your Starbucks? No judgment there, because mine's right over there. I need a coffee today. All right. Tracy says, thanks, have to go get the kiddos. Tracy, thank you. Thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate it. Folks, I'm happy to stick around and do more Q&A. This is straight me trying to bring value to you. So we'll go for a little bit longer, and then we're going to shut it down.
Cindy asked, how do I find my purpose? I've been trying to figure it out.
Cindy asks, how do I find my purpose? I've been trying to figure it out for a long time. Cindy, great question. If we knew the exact answer to that, we'd be billionaires. We are committed to finding it out. This is part of what we're doing inside the platform. Jay said to me, the path to discovering your purpose begins with getting on the path. Kind of like that step one, which is seeking clarity, giving blocking time for you to stop, to pause, to reflect. Part of what we do in these weekly check-ins is we naturally provide the space for you to check in internally. You know, yesterday on our call with our founding members, I told them the story about what happened in Newport, and I asked our founding members a series of questions that forced them to look inward. And we provided that space for probably 5 minutes on the call. But what would that look like for you if you did have that 5 minutes a week where you asked the question? Would you get further along? It's just like setting your goals. A lot of people set goals based on whatever they think they need to do at the time. It's a very shotgun approach. It's all over the place. Our system, our models, whether it's setting goals, whether it's finding your purpose, it's about looking inward and picking a direction that you think is right. And you start heading down that direction, and then we provide you with the ongoing permission to look up and ask, am I going in the right direction? We provide that space for you. And then you go, not exactly. I need to go here. And then you go a little bit further. And then you correct again. This is evident in when we work with our founding members, how often they're revising their 411, how often they're revising their goals, because they are developing the muscle, the habit of pausing, seeking clarity, and asking, am I still going in the right direction? And if not, cool, at least I know that. And now you get to make another guess based on where you think you are going. That is what this is all about. Let's take another sip of water here real quick. Let's keep the questions going. I'm really enjoying this.
Will there be an opportunity to have more intimate accountability groups within the community?
Will there be an opportunity to have more intimate accountability within the community? Think big, act small. The number one disservice we can do to you is to think of all the things we could do and try to do them all at once. Right now, what we have done is thought of a big vision for this, and we are starting by mastering the core. This is the core. Could I see a world where all of a sudden we start creating smaller accountability groups? Sure. Do I know that within our founding members groups, some of them that interact with one another have formed accountability groups? Yes. Is that an opportunity for you? All day, baby. Is it something that we are systematically providing yet? No. Because every single thing we do, I want to be world class. I want to do it at an extraordinary high level. And somebody asked for a Gary Keller story. Here it is. One of the first things that Gary Keller ever said to me was, welcome to Austin. Good luck. You're going to need it. Thank you, Gary. He said, we invested 5 years researching and writing the one thing so that the bar for quality would be here. Your job is to raise the bar, not lower it. I walk in to a brand of one of the highest rated business books of all time, and my job is to raise the bar, not lower it. Everything we do is designed to raise the bar. So we will not bring something to you until we're confident and ready for it. Love the suggestion. And this is part of what we did with the founding members, and part of what this is going to be is to hear that. If we hear enough people that say, we want this, we want this, we want this, trust me, we are going to look into this. No doubt about it. I want to say quickly, congratulations to Adam, to Kristen, to Enyi, to Robert, to Marissa, John, another Marissa, Ewan, Trisha, Roger, Dennis, another Roger, Chris, David, Vicky, Amanda. So many of you guys, wow. So many of you have already signed up to give this thing a try. This is incredible. Jason, Dwayne, Luann, Ernie, Francis. We can't wait to serve you guys. This is going to be so much fun. So thank you. And for those of you who are on the fence, you can see it. I would not be standing here with this level of conviction saying this is the most valuable premium resource we've created since the book. And we very strategically looked up and said, if our true goal is to help 100 million people take back control of our time, then by definition, this is not about making as much money as possible, because we could be charging over $100 for this easy, no question. You go and hire a one-on-one coach, it's $1,000 to $3,000 a month. We are bringing the thunder in this thing. Yet we also know our goal is impact, not money. Impact first, which is why it's $1 a day. So try it. Give it a shot. And if we don't knock your socks off, let us know. We'll give you your money back and we'll cancel your subscription. You got no risk here, okay? We are in the business, raise the bar, not lower it. There is no material amount of money that I can make for this company that would warrant undermining the brand of Gary Keller. He owns the largest real estate company in the world, okay? I don't have the opportunity to undermine the brand. So we stand behind what we do. Mm-hmm. We hope that you'll join us. What did they say?
Well, Marissa said, so Connie asked, although I love you, Jeff, I'm a big fan of Jay. Are we going to see or hear him?
Although, who said that?
Connie.
Connie said, although she's a big fan of me, or she loves me, she's a big fan of Jay. We will be having some Jay Papasan time in the Living One Thing community, I believe around week 6. Yeah. Week 6? Yeah. So we got you covered.
And he'll be popping in every now and again.
Yeah, we got you covered. And he does engage in the community. He definitely pops in. So yeah, absolutely. All right. How often will you be posting new training videos? Asked Shannon. Well, Shannon, the weekly check-in is every week. Okay. Sometimes it's live. Sometimes it's evergreen. We know that the number one reason that people cancel memberships like this is overwhelm. If we tried to load 10 modules at you a week, you'd get overwhelmed. So our question, it's what is our book is about? Our book is not about doing everything. It's about focus. So we are going to ask the question, what is the most powerful lesson that we can deliver to you in the minimum amount of time so that you can actually do it and get value from it. But you'll have at least something once a week. What's so funny?
I took a picture and I sent it to Jay.
Oh, Connie. Inez is taking a picture of your comment. And Marissa.
Jay's kind of cute. I have a Mrs. Robinson like crush on him.
Oh my God. Jay is kind of cute. I have a Mrs. Robinson. We are totally sending that to Jay. Marissa, we're texting him. He's on vacation. We're still texting it to him. I've made the commitment. I'm going to try it. Luis. Yes. Congratulations, Luis.
Shannon said, is there a difference between my one thing habit for the day and tasks that need to be done to accomplish my one thing?
Ooh, who asked that?
Shannon. Shannon
asked, is there a difference between my one thing for the day and the task that I need to do to support the one thing? Well, here's a great example. In fact, you know what? Screen share time. Let me pull up my 411. I'm going to give you some examples of this. Okay. I'm going to show you my actual 411 for this week. And this is part of what we do in the check-ins is I will put the screen on and I'll show you exactly what we are doing behind the scenes so that you can actually see what does this look like. We're not trying to, we want to help you guys. Let me show you, turning the screen on eventually sometime today, right now.
Now I see your 411.
Okay, great. So these are my priorities for the week in order of priority. Number 1, webinar. We're doing it right now. No, did I just quit that? Come on, Jeff. Sorry, guys. The idea, and I'll walk you through it while I pull it back up. Number one said webinar, but I got really clear on what that actually means. What do I actually have to do to earn the right to cross it off? And I wrote finalize, practice, test, and deliver. And it's back up now. So now I'm actually going to share it with you guys again. For reals this time, no teasies. And deliver. So I had to finalize the slides. I had to practice it. I had to test it. I had to deliver it. Cool. Now I officially earn the right to do this. Bam! Now, finish Kajabi. This is the training platform we use. I got very specific about what that looks like. Agree on the layout. Already did it. Record some final modules. Update the calendar. We haven't finished the calendar yet. Create some onboarding automations for you guys. Haven't done it yet. Okay. Now notice how everything's south of here, engaging with our founding members, practicing my keynote for next week, stuff for the podcast. That ain't crossed off because I've developed the habit of acting in order of priority. So for you, if you get really clear on the one thing you absolutely must do today and you want to get clear on the specific subtasks, go for it. One of the things you're going to hear us talk about in this community is not only here's the system, but how do you make this your own? Will you send me your 411 in Slack as a link so I can show them? Just for the week. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to show you Inez's so that you can see how hers looks a little bit different than mine. The whole thing here is, folks, is we're going to give you a model and a system, but then we're going to give you the permission to customize it, to make it your own, because that's what this is about. It's not about us saying, follow this path. It's about us providing you with a framework and then you being able to make it your own so that you actually get results. Oh my God, what a thought. I'm going to wait for Inez to send me it in. You're sending it in Slack, yeah? She's trying, but I'm going to get another question going for you guys while we do this.
Click on the question side of the chat.
How can you help when there is clarity? How can you help when there is clarity? The problem is taking focused action. Ken, that's easier. Most people, the challenge is seeking clarity first. If you already are clear on where you want to go, taking focused action, that's not the hard part. That is accounted for in these systems. It 100% works. So I'm very encouraged by what you just said, just so you know. All right, let me pull up Inez's 411. Let me show you guys what we're dealing with here. Flipping the screen share. Where did yours go, Inez? Nope. There it is. Notice how she has this grid section here. This is not on mine. The reason she has hers is because she's in an administrative capacity. She's the ruler of my world. And every single day I come in and I dump things on her, things that I need done. She needed a place where she could catch all of those little tasks that need to be done to put them in here. And she developed a system that when they finally get put onto the 411, whether it's a priority for this week, whether it's an 80% thing for later, then she takes it off of the grid. But as long as it's on the grid means it hasn't been assigned its rightful home on the 411. This is something that she did that is unique to her. Again, we will help you customize and make it your own. So question, please. Peggy, more favorite lessons. Peggy, enough lessons for you. Just kidding. Maureen, how does this help with dealing? No, we got that one. I'm going to erase that one. Do you have any options for people who want to subscribe for a year? Yeah. So the moment that you sign up for the trial, on the very next page, you're going to be given the option to actually take the annual membership instead. Okay. And you'll save 30% when you do that. So 100% there. And if for some reason you missed it, email it to us and I'm sure we will help you out because we're nice people. All right. What about the content continuity if I don't start on Monday? Asked. Is that Maddie? 100% works, Maddie. We have people who they weren't able to be on the check-in. That's why we load it into the training platform, is so that you can consume it on demand when the time works for you. And don't feel like you have to consume everything. That's certainly not the purpose of this. This is about you making a smart investment with your time and getting the maximum results. Kevin, are there any founding members using a tool like OmniFocus, or do spreadsheets seem to work better? Kevin, I'm not 100% sure. I know that some of our founding members who are more techie did develop their own systems. And again, we love it. We're going to give you the framework, and how you choose to use it is up to you. I will tell you, part of our long-term vision is that we will be a tech company. So we're thinking big in terms of being a tech company that facilitates your time. And we're starting really small by asking the question, what's the one thing we can do? All of the spreadsheets, the paper stuff is paving the way for tech, which when you're a member in here, you're helping create that. It's working with you and your feedback that helps us identify, hey, we need to do this. Example, enough people reached out to us and said, we really wish we had a one thing journal. It's something that we are actively working on. In fact, it's her one thing. We started with the founding members testing things on them. We are going to be testing things with this journal with people in the community. We're going to be giving them things to try out to give us feedback so that hopefully within the next year, we are launching an actual one thing journal, a one thing paper calendar. And it's going to be based on the feedback we get from you should you choose to join us. Okay. Just so you guys know, I'm going to handle a few more questions and then we're going to wrap it up. So it's that time where we're about to pull the button down. If you are interested in trying this for $1, click the button. Give it a try. What's the worst thing that happens? You get some awesome coaching or some awesome guidance for a month. You decide it doesn't work for you. You email us. We give you your money back and you get to keep the knowledge. That's it. That's it. So we hope that you will do us the honor of at least choosing to join us for 7 days and giving this thing a shot and allowing us to prove to you, to earn the right to have you, to have us as your accountability partner. Okay. Where can you find out how to create the 411? This is in the onboarding section of this is in the core section of the training, Jeannie. It's one of the first things that we are going to teach you guys. We give you the template. We show you a video of how to fill it out. I have an actual case study video of how I go through mine. We have a case study video of me walking through someone else's 411 live with them on the call and asking them questions and us giving them guidance on how they can tweak it, all in the platform, all in there. You get to learn it for $1. There you go. Peggy, I love you. More questions, more favorite things from Gary Keller. All right, guys, final questions coming in right now, and then we're going to wrap it up. If you have not yet clicked that button, the moment we close this thing down, the button goes away. So at least click it, open it up on another browser, because if you're just like, I can't do it yet, I need to do it later, you can think about it for later. It'll still be there. We will, just so you know, through the remainder of the time that our doors are open, we will be sending out a decent number of emails to you guys to talk to you more about what's included in giving you the opportunity to join. Since we respect your time, we only want to email you if it's relevant to you. If you just decide, you know what, I'm done, I don't need to hear any more about this, at the bottom of every email that we're going to send during the remainder of the membership being open, there's going to be a little PS that'll say, if you're not interested in learning more, just click here. That way we can remove you from the list and you won't hear about it anymore. We want you to feel special. We want you to feel respected. We want you to get value. We want to serve you. If it's a fit, awesome. If it's not, we will continue to bring value to you because that's what we stand for. Okay. With that, I think it's a good time to wrap. Thank you very much for your attention. If you've been here the whole time, we've literally gone for 2 hours, which I did not expect that, but our number one goal is to bring value to you. We genuinely believe this platform will help you. And if it's not a fit at all, cool. Check out the One Thing podcast. And we know you'll get value there as well. But
stay live for a minute. I'm going to get my email.
Oh, stay live for a minute. And Naz is going to give you her email. Ooh, the woman in Jeff's life. I mean, well, of course, my wife is numero uno, right?
Your wife is first.
My wife is first. That's correct.
And then your daughter.
And then my daughter. You're a close third.
And then your mom's third. I can be fourth.
This says she can be fourth. All right. Hook 'em horns, says Marissa. You are funny. If you guys have any questions, any challenges whatsoever, mastery@theonething.com. Mastery@theonething.com comes to us. That is our support email. I mean this very sincerely. I do not take lightly the fact that you just invested 2 hours with us. It means the world that you did. It's why we have continued to stay on here and to answer questions and to try to bring value to you. If there's anything we can do to support you, Mastery at the One Thing, Jeff at the One Thing, we're here from you. We hope that you will consider joining us. And thank you. We appreciate you. Have a good one. Did you see Ashley's thing?
You're still live.
I know I'm still live.
Okay, Ashley.
If any of you guys have, because I see Ashley saying you're having an error.
My email to
Okay,
me.
so if you have any problems whatsoever, guys, just email Mastery at the One Thing, or Inez even put her email in here, and we'll make sure that we take care of you. All right, thanks, guys. Love you.